going on, everyone? James Nannup is here, and welcome back to another episode of the Political Freedom Fighters Podcast. And in this episode, I have a very special guest for all of you. This interview is an interview that I have been waiting to do for a month, and this person has finally managed to be brave enough to speak on behalf of this party because I have been struggling to get an interview with this party, but I'm finally done it. But anyways, with that being said, I want to introduce you all Jason, who is from the Justice for All Party of North Carolina. How are you, sir?
Hey, James. Thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
That's awesome, man. All right, I guess my first question is, now you don't have to go into personal detail as you can tell me as much as you want. You don't have to give me personal detail if you need to. So introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm Jason. I've been interested in politics for a long time. Joined the Justice for All Party. I was with the Greens, and when Cornel West left, I knew I had to be a part of it. So joined the party and became the technology officer, and it was a great group of people. But it seems like so long ago, but I mean, that was really just 2 years ago, and everything happened really fast. But yeah, I'm in Durham. Still doing political stuff. Unfortunately, not with Justice for All anymore.
Damn. Yeah, I've heard that Justice for All has not done so well recently, but I don't want to get too much into that. And I guess with that being said, what was the history of the Justice for All Party of North Carolina?
Yeah, we were actually one of the first states to secure ballot access. It was one of the initial drivers for the national party is to get on North Carolina, and yeah, it was just grassroots. We're starting a party to get Cornel to be president, and California, I think actually it's a little easier for them to get on the ballot, but they were actually, I think, the first. And then there was a lot of resources put into North Carolina as far as ballot signature collection. So it happened really fast. I didn't actually join right at the beginning. I joined a little bit after that initial push, but it was just the two chairs were really ecstatic about getting on the ballot and getting Cornel West to be president. And then also for going forward, the plan was to have a party that was able to work locally with a lot of different candidates. And it was a long-term plan. It wasn't just about Cornel West. So there was the two main centers were Durham and then Asheville. And there were a lot of interested people already. And then the more people we talked to, the more the party just came to life.
All right, that's awesome. Anyways, why did you initially join the party anyways?
Yeah, just we needed a third party candidate. Obviously, the Democrats and the Republicans weren't going to do anything better than they have in the last 20 years. So Cornel West was willing to be that person. And, you know, if he would have been president, we would have seen a lot different things. And then just the momentum and the movement, like he always said, it's a moment in a movement. But to be part of that was pretty inspiring. And I've been a fan of Cornel West for, since I first read his books like 20 years ago. So the fact that he was willing to run for president and at least expose some of the leftist ideals and the leftist policies and what the world could look like, that was my main reason.
All right, that makes sense. So, anyways, we're gonna go over your platform, which I was actually able to pull up from going through the Justice for All Party of North Carolina's YouTube channel, and we're probably not going to go over all of it, but we're probably going to go over a lot of it. And I guess the first thing I would like to talk about is workers' rights. And apparently there's like 4 points, and we'll go through like each point at a time. The first point is make NC a union state again, repeal the prohibition of public sector collective bargaining, and revoke quote-unquote right to work laws. Oh yeah, feel free to respond.
Oh yeah, one of our main goals was to work with labor organization. North Carolina is the worst state in the country, so that was a pretty easy point to make. A lot of need for improvements, especially in North Carolina, and nationally, that was one of the goals of the campaign as well. So it fit really well with that. But that was our initiative. One of the co-chairs was actually leading the Amazon like drive for a union there. So he was in the streets with it. So, and we just know that we need the power of organizing your workplace is huge, and it extends beyond just the workers' rights. When you have unions and they're organized and they work with other unions, that you can take on political action, you can take on social action, and you can shut things down. I mean, that's one of the things about the U.S. with like the general strike is we don't have strong unions here. There are a lot of corporate-owned unions where it's just about money for them, and that's their point. They're collective bargaining for the workers of the union. But if we had stronger unions and they were willing to take more of a stand for what's just, I think we would have not just politicians making policy. That's actually how you can create change on the ground.
All right, that's pretty reasonable. The next up, raise the minimum wage to $20 to reflect the cost of living and continue to adjust it as the cost of living changes.
Yeah, it's pretty clear and obvious. I know we've seen, like the Pacific Northwest has seen a lot of gains in that. $20 seems pretty conservative nowadays. I mean, I think if we were doing it now with the inflation that's happened in the last 2 years, we probably would have shot for 25. But I think everyone knows that the workers need to be paid more.
All right. Next, establish a workers' bill of rights.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with that one, but take your guess, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know much about a workers' bill of rights either, so it's all right. Next up is end taxation on the working class.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for workers to be taxed when the business owners, the ones who own the means of production, are getting off scot-free while making profits. I mean, that was pretty vague. We put this together pretty quickly, and the plan was to, especially with some of the later ones where we just wanted to get it out there. It's what we stand for, and we were going to come up with the strategy and the specifics later on.
All right, that's reasonable. Next up is, we can go over healthcare. Establish universal single-payer healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, I think DSA is doing a pretty good job exposing this one now. So a lot of the people in the party were former Bernie supporters. So that was one thing that brought us all together, is we really liked Bernie's policy on that. It makes sense. I'm not a politician. I don't write policy, but like the people who came up with these, and actually none of us were politicians, but it just seems like it makes sense. There's one initiative we did take when we were collecting signatures was, I forget the name of the organization, but they're willing to take donations and then they write off medical debt. So for every dollar that we took into the party, we would try to put $1 towards them. And it's wild how much they can take, like $10 million. Don't quote me on the numbers, but it was if they are willing to, they have lawyers and they agree with the hospitals or the collection agencies. Probably they're like, okay, hey, you're trying to collect $10 million in debt. Can you settle for 10,000? And a lot of times they would take it, and it would get the collection agencies off people's backs who really just had a bad scenario where they ended up having to pay a ton of medical bills. So that was an awesome organization, and one of the main initiatives that we did when we were going door to door. And the response from people was like, yeah, that seems like a great cause. Medical debt is crazy. Medical expenses are too high.
Yeah, healthcare is really, really expensive. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, there's also a national there was a national section that the Justice for All Party of North Carolina had when it came to workers' rights, and apparently it says protect mass unionization across the country.
Yeah, so what I was saying earlier is the power, when workers realize their power and the laws aren't pinned against them, it's going to be advantageous for the vast majority of citizens in the country.
All right. Next up is basic human rights. Codify housing, food, healthcare, and clean water access as basic human rights.
Yeah, there's the number of people who are homeless in this country is astounding. It's just, it doesn't make any sense when you live in a nation that has so much profit and so it's a rich nation for there to be homeless. It's been a basic human right for most of history for nearly every population. Even recently in the 19th and 20th century, a lot of nations would have housing for people. The United States just doesn't. Water was kind of a little bit of an interesting one. And it goes into a lot. So there's, yeah, I don't want to speak to it too much, but it was kind of preparing for the future of what could happen in case we don't guarantee that as a right. So,
All right. Next up is establish net neutrality.
yeah, that was an interesting one. I was kind of surprised everyone agreed with, but I think this was probably even before Giannis came out with techno feudalism, but it's really it all comes down to capitalism, and like we have to realize and understand that the capitalists want to control us, and that's net neutrality is one way we can fight back against that. Like, you don't get to be feudal lords over the services we need. You can't. It's really hard to operate now without the internet. So why isn't that a basic human right? Why isn't that guaranteed for everybody? And why do we give corporations the power to control that if it's a necessity?
Fair enough. Next up. Oh yeah, and it's on the platform. It says that you want to separately create a state infrastructure bank and a national infrastructure bank.
Yeah, that's I don't know what we were really planning to do, but that was a goal. It's pretty popular in most socialist ideologies to take control of and give back the resources to the people. Like, these are public resources; they shouldn't be in private hands. They come from the people. The people, they belong to the people. It's basically what that one was about.
All right. The next thing I want to go over is increase corporate taxation.
Yeah, somebody's got to pay, and seems to make the most sense for the giant corporations who are basking in profits off of other people's work to pay for the services that they're using. Actually, Michael Perendi makes a great statement about that, where they're all for socialism. The capitalists are, but they socialize the risk and the cost. Like that's what the public pays for. That's what's socialized. And then the only thing they aren't about socialism is the profits, and they keep all those. So I think he makes the point better than I could.
All right, fair enough. Next, establish the Indigenous American Repairs Investigations Commissions.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, well, that's all right. Next, hold trials for Joe Biden and other politicians who enable genocide and war crimes. Yes.
Yeah, we wrote this probably when Joe Biden was still planning on running, but the same would be true for Kamala, anybody. And now I think I heard it somewhere where the current administration's committing war crimes. But yeah, stop killing people. There's laws that cover every nation, and why is the United States breaking them? Hold them accountable.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things that I hear about from third parties often is basically the same conclusion, is that the United States does have an inconsistent foreign policy to where they don't want to bomb some countries, but they want to bomb other countries. It depends on if you're a Democrat or Republican, but no matter what, our country's going to bomb, and and a lot of taxpayer money is going to be thrown into it, and we will never recover from it.
Indeed.
All right, next up, what do I want to go over? Oh yeah, criminal justice. Prosecute and fine state-based companies that able and abet in the execution of war crimes.
Yeah, similar as the last one. It's yeah, it was probably pointed, but yeah, it's universal.
Fair enough. All right, what do I want to go over next? All right, social justice seems to be quite a big one. Hold a constitutional convention for all territories to ensure full sovereignty for the colonial holdings of American imperialism.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the intent of that one was, but I can't really comment. I don't like these were voted on. I mean, we discussed them and voted on them, but yeah, I'm not really sure what the intent of that one was.
All right, fair enough, I understand. Next, call for an immediate ceasefire in Palestine, yes, and an immediate end to weapons funding for Israel, yes. Return to negotiations that recognize Palestinian rights and sovereignty, yeah.
Yeah, self-explanatory. It's great. I feel like a lot of different groups and people on the ground, we had to fight so hard, and we were turned away by a lot of people at the beginning. But that's one that we did win a lot of people over, and I was really glad to see that just in the national conversation. Originally, it felt like, I mean, the students led the way, right, at the campuses, and they were demonized at first. This was right around the time that the UNC was holding out their protest, and yeah, we were really inspired by the students, and they won. I mean, it's not over. There's still Palestinians being slaughtered, so we shouldn't talk about it like it's over. But yeah, that it started with demanding that, and it's a little bit better, but we need to keep demanding that for sure. And that's not even just like a political party thing. That's just everybody needs to demand that.
All right. Next is end American military neocolonialism, deflate military spending, recall overseas forces, and close American bases around the world. Use the budget surplus from such action for social welfare programs to the benefit of the American workers and families.
Yeah, absolutely. The United States military budget is wild. I don't have the numbers, but I'm sure everyone's heard it a million times. It's like by far the biggest budget of any nation. I think it's we can spend that money better other places.
Yeah, and when it comes to when it comes to to our military spending, a lot of that money is being thrown into the military industrial complex, which is basically just like a job center to where like the government just like makes jobs for people to build like weapons of war and guns so that they can invade people for basically rich people gains and all that stuff.
Yeah, it does create some jobs, but it creates a lot more profit than workers bring home. Like so, but the military industrial complex has been it's been a cancer on our society for 50, 60 years. So 70. So somebody needs to stop it.
Yeah, we really need to revive the anti-war movement more than ever because Trump made a promise that there were some Republicans that were saying that, oh, Donald Trump's the anti-war candidate. After the whole Iran-Israel thing, like, so much for him being anti-war, right?
Yeah, he made some claims that he was going to stop some wars, and I think the first, both the times, and America first, but no, military and industrial complex first, I guess. That's what he meant.
Yeah, and yeah, because of Trump's war hawk policies, MAGA's actually falling apart right now. Like, goddamn. But anyways, next up, um, we need to nationalize oil and gas corporations.
Yeah, again, this is the socialist kind of plan. It makes sense. It's the other nations that have done this, they, even if they don't own them, the way they subsidize and tax like 40-50% on energy, if a private company does own it, it's just it's the people's resource. Like, it's not even the United States, it's human. Every human, why does one human have the right to take from the earth, sell, and make a profit? It's, yeah, I'll never understand that argument. I mean, we could talk dialectics and point to why people think that they have the right to make profit, but really, if not national, that should be a global surplus. That should be, the profit should go back to the people, period.
All right. Next, nationalize a railroad transportation corporations.
Yeah, same thing. These are, yeah, there's been a large shift, in the last 40 years, where they first started saying, oh, the public spends too much money and it's cheaper, it'd be better for everyone if we privatized it. There was a lot of controlling that narrative by these people who had friends who then, and like you see it in city water companies, city streets, parking meters, private buses, and they want to privatize it so that their buddies can make money. And then if it goes to crap, they're out. But if when you have public goods owned by the public, as they should be, there's more incentive to make sure it doesn't fail, and without the need to drive profits, you're going to provide better services. So that's railroad, water, oil, natural gas, capital, finance. It all should be public.
So, would you say that you would be in favor of investments in, like, say, like bullet trains?
If they make sense. I mean, personally, I think we have a lot of roads that trains have to cross. I think there is a bullet train now from Vegas to Los Angeles, which is going to be an interesting experiment. But yeah, along the East Coast corridor, I don't like, put it next to I-95. Just, there's already that land. Just there's obviously, it's not as easy as that, but yeah, invest in it. It makes no sense that we don't have good public transportation.
All right. Next, nationalize a high-speed rail system connecting major American metropolises.
Yeah, sounds like we all were in agreement on that one, but I'm definitely in agreement for that.
All right. Next up is establish the National Climate Reparations Inventory. No, wait. Establish the National Climate Reparations Investigatory Commission.
Yeah, I mean, we have to figure that out. Like, I think that's a good policy. I think a lot of parties have that on the books, but nobody does anything. But yeah, that was definitely something we were going to prioritize.
All right. Call for an immediate end to oil extraction.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? I mean, why, like, we won't switch over to renewable resources as long as we're still drinking that oil up. Cheap oil is going to prevent us from switching over, so why not?
Sheep oil. Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting.
Well, compared to other countries, I don't know this for a fact, but I think our oil is all subsidized. So
Yeah, we really
yeah.
need. Yeah, we really need to stop subsidizing oil altogether. Because, oh my God, these subsidies can create freaking abuses. Like it's insane.
So a lot of the reason for wars too, like, might be the reason why they're trying to go to war with Venezuela. It's like if other countries, I mean, the people who make profits off oil, they understand that if there's a lot more supply, if any other nation is not letting them control the market, then they aren't making the profits that they want to. So it's stop using oil, really. But yeah.
All right. Next up, increase corporate taxation, high speed utility. We have to eliminate private utility corporations.
Absolutely. Again, it's a public service. Yeah, it's just in other instances, like especially in the Nordic countries, they have public utility companies and they're able to provide the same services or better. And nobody takes the profit off the top. Like you sell people still have to pay for utilities, but they're going to pay the cost that it takes to deliver them instead of the cost plus profit for somebody who's trying to figure out how to make profit, I guess.
Fair enough. Next up, establish a state-owned utilities including widespread free and fast public internet.
Yeah, would anyone disagree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Internet really should be free and everyone should have access to it. Next up, establish a state-owned marijuana distributor following the ABC model with local and small-scale farm ownership.
Yeah, this was right around the time when the Cherokee allowed purchases on reservation, and we were kind of preparing. I think the national was too. Is kind of what you saw with Mandami, like who's going to pay for all this stuff? And we were kind of wanting to have some answers. Like, look, there's ways to pay for this. People will buy marijuana if the state owns it. Like the state runs the ABC stores. The taxes go back to the state. So that's one way to cut into the budget shortfalls for all the things, all of the social services that we intended to provide. But in North Carolina, I think it just makes a ton of sense. And there's other states where, like, we didn't want to just say, legalize marijuana, because there's ways you can do that which are not good. Where, like, it's very owned by private industries and they can charge whatever they want, and if they'll basically have a monopoly, even though it's a collective, and it's illegal to grow. So if we wanted to legalize marijuana in North Carolina, we wanted to do it the right way.
Yeah, and we really need to end the war on drugs, man. It's a disaster. It's a lot of money that is spent on solutions that basically don't work and basically puts innocent people in jail sometimes and basically even allows cartels sometimes to basically use even more harmful drugs to poison the population.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And okay, next up is promote small and worker-owned businesses through tax relief, rebates, interest-free loans, and public grant money.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah, I don't really remember that one, but it sounds good to me.
And I guess next up is reform farm and child labor laws to protect workers.
Yeah, we worked with a lot of the farm workers, and in other states where they have strong union laws, the farm workers can unionize and protect themselves, but we don't. So, barring better union laws, and then sometimes you don't even need to take the time to organize a union if your state just understands that people should be able to work safely. So it's kind of a shortcut to getting to the same result.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I like that you guys also mentioned reform child labor laws as well, because there have been a lot of concerns about child labor laws in regards to like the acting industry, especially with what's been going on with like Nickelodeon, with Drake Bell being assaulted by an elder guy by the name of Brian Peck back in like 2004. And it's not the only example. There was actually like quite a number of instances where like children were like being abused, and from the sounds of it, child labor laws were not being enforced for whatever reason.
Wow. Yeah, good points.
And with that being said, actually, that might be it for the entire platform. Believe it or not, was there anything else that the Justice for All Party of North Carolina stood for?
We had other discussions, and that was just the preliminary list, but we wanted to keep it relatively short. I can't remember anything major. Voter reform, if that wasn't on there, that would have been number one. Maybe we should have had that on there, but yeah, like something like ranked choice voting, or just making it easier for other third parties to get on the ballot and stay on the ballot. I noticed you were talking one of your other podcasts about like the Constitution and Party and the We the People, I think, and Libertarians. I think we met with all three of them, and we kind of we talked about it, and there was a voter guide put out. I think this was led by the We the People leadership, but we obviously have strong ideological differences. But one thing that we thought we should unite on and just show how people can work together, especially third parties, is to help each other out to get on the ballot. So we came together and we're like, hey, let's show people that we can work together. And then we talked about in the future, if anybody else loses ballot access, to work together to collect signatures on the petition, because you can't claim you're a democratic society when you're not allowing people to vote or to vote for who they want. So yeah, another thing that probably wasn't even an issue, or maybe we didn't think of at the time, was voter suppression. I don't remember if it was as rampant as it is now, or was this but yeah, like in North Carolina, they're making it harder to vote, and we're about justice and democracy. You need to be able to vote. You need to be able to vote for who you want to. You shouldn't be able, like, states that should be ashamed of themselves when they're saying, no, you have two choices, and only it's going back to the 1700s where you had to be a landowning white person that pays a poll tax. Like, no, this is a democracy. Like, people should be able to choose their own leaders.
Exactly, and I'm actually glad that you mentioned that. And and in one of my episodes, I actually ended up recording the one of the Rules Review Commission's meetings in regards to changes in the petitioning process. And luckily, me and a few third parties were able to get together enough people to send letters to the Rules Review Commissions to put some of the rules up for legislative review. And the rules are not going to be expected to be debated for the rest of the year, so that has been pushed to next year. Until then, I will be providing updates on that as time goes on. And yeah, let's talk more about voter reform.
Okay, yeah, I love that you did that. I think that's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you. Yeah, we can talk about voter reform. It's very convoluted, and it's intentionally convoluted. We lost a lot of momentum when we were challenged by the Democrats and we had to go to court. There's only like 2 or 3 lawyers in the entire nation that aren't owned by the Dems or the Republicans that know constitution law or electoral law. And yeah, they're very hard to find. And then the Democrats have thousands of lawyers. They will drag it out in court. And even though they know they're going to lose when it goes to another judge, like they will do that, because for 3 or 4 months when we should have been campaigning, we had a candidate for, I think, Winston-Salem lawyer or mayor or city council, and he was just getting ready to launch his campaign, and then Justice Burrell is not on the ballot, and he ended up not campaigning at all because there were just so many uncertainties, and the Democrats know that. We need to reform it. We need to make it so that people that have all the money and the lawyers can't make it impossible for other people to be on the ballot. And I mean, the Republicans probably aren't any better, but yeah, that's awesome that you're doing some work to make it at least more straightforward, and hopefully we can see the discussion and see why people don't want us to be able to vote.
Yeah, and I guess when it comes to like ranked choice voting, let's talk more about ranked choice voting, because a lot of people seem to be in favor of it.
Yeah, it's kind of a shortcut to getting to where it's more like democratic, and it really refutes the whole, if you don't vote for us, then that really evil party will win. It's like, well, you guys could just do ranked choice voting, and then we can vote for third parties, and then if they don't win, you'll get our second place vote. So it's not like their argument's always been like, vote for whoever, Ralph Nader or Cornel West is a vote for Trump. Like, for one, that's not really true. Exit polls have kind of already disproven that. But it's all about controlling the narrative and scaring people to vote for. Those were both examples that the Democrats used to getting them to vote for the Democrat, because instead of a third party, when we would gladly, I mean, if that was true, they could pass ranked choice voting, say, all right, number 1, Cornel West, number 2, Kamala or whoever, and then you're not losing a vote. A vote for Cornel West is not a vote for Donald Trump. It's a vote for Cornel West. And if he's not going to make it, it's a vote for Kamala. So it makes no sense not to do it.
Fair enough. So with that being said, I guess we can go over this. I guess we'll be done with the platform now. So I guess I gotta wonder, how is the Justice for All party in North Carolina? I'm actually very curious about that.
Yeah, I actually left. I mean, none of us were full-time. We all had other jobs. So I think it dissolved. I lost touch. One of the biggest things was Hurricane Helene. We were actually planning. We were doing a lot of the organizing, especially since Asheville's so far away, online, virtually. So this was going to be the first time where Central and like a couple of people from the eastern part of the state were all going to Asheville to strategize and organize. And yeah, then Helene hit, and 2 of our like biggest leaders were just, one had to relocate to a different state. And then, yeah, they were just so involved in restoring the services that the government really should have been helping them with. And it really, like, they just had other priorities, and so did we. And I think it dissolved after the election. But recently I've been getting a lot of emails from, I don't know, I guess they found the email list or something, but I've just mass emails out to everyone who organized with the campaign for starting new state parties, especially like Pennsylvania, and I think there's one in Ohio. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't think I'll be involved again, but like I'm involved in some other activisms at the moment, so I don't want to spread myself too thin. But I'm glad that it'll survive in some form. I hope it does.
Yeah, I think I can actually provide an answer to the mass emails. Apparently, one of the members of the National Justice for All Party, Catherine Bott, accidentally sent out a mass email to like a whole bunch of people. It was an accident, by the way. I think she meant to like send it to like a few certain amount of people, but yeah, that just happened. And apparently there was like some. Apparently, I was informed that there was like some Pennsylvania guy about who wanted to join the National Party, and so I managed to talk to Catherine about it, and yeah, she said that she's managed to get that guy. She managed to get that guy to possibly come to the next national meeting.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. That does shed some light.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. So I guess really, I kind of want to do that's here's the thing. I've actually been trying to work with like multiple third parties for a while now, and I'm actually trying to like start up the North Carolina Pirate Party because some people were like demanding it. I am going to try to open myself to both Ford and the Veterans parties maybe eventually. So that I might consider working with them. I'm in communications with the Constitution, Socialists, Greens, and Libertarians very often. I meet with Rob Yates like once a month virtually online. I meet with the Left Unity Study Group
Oh,
with members of the Green and Socialist parties of North Carolina every Thursday, and on every first and third Monday of every month, I meet with the Constitution Party so that way I can hear what they've been doing. And I'm actually going to try to revive the Justice for All Party now. Actually, and it's not just the Justice for All
do it.
Party. Yeah, that would be great. And I also am also trying to revive the We the People Party of North Carolina right now. Luckily, the We the People Party of North Carolina is actually still active. I actually managed to finally get into contact with their chairman after months of failing to, like, whatever, like, all that stuff. After like RFK like dropped out, it was like a complete disaster. And yeah, my goal is to. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do the best that I can to revive the Justice for All Party of North Carolina. When I managed to get into contact with Italo Medelius a few months back, the last time I managed to talk to him, he said that he was working on reviving the Justice for All Party of North Carolina, but I've not heard back from him since.
Cool. Yeah, that's great news. Yeah, it's the more people that are active and working on it, the better off we'll be. I mean, it's each one teach one, and that it won't work if nobody's taking the lead. So props to you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know I don't need to ask this, but I just need to ask this because I've been asking all the third parties to do this. Does the Justice for All Party of North Carolina plan on uploading more videos to their YouTube channel?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
And damn, this video has actually gotten really short, and we actually still got some time left. So, is there anything else you want to talk about? Feel free to say anything.
No, I'm really glad you had me on. It's pleasure seeing the work being done by folks, and wish you the best of luck on the podcast. And yeah, sure you will see you in the whirlwind.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, that's actually going to be it. I'm sorry this episode was a little bit shorter than usual, but you know what? I'm glad we managed to get a lot out from the Justice for All Party in North Carolina. I also want to say thank you, Jason, once again for coming on to the podcast. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and also hit the notification bell just so that you can get updates to new upcoming videos. And with that, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all later. Peace out.